Okay, back at the end of my bed fly time again. This time I'm going to do a stealth leech. Okay, so this pattern's useful when the fish don't want flash and flash isn't working. Something plain will sometimes get the fish feeding. So in the vise, I have a Camazon B175 with a 3.5 Charteris bead in tungsten and lead wire running down the hook, down the shank of the hook, then doubled up about 6-7 turns by the back of a bead. So firstly we're going to hang our thread over the hook, just behind the bead, and we're just going to bring it over a couple of turns just to trap the thread, and then we're going to bring the thread in reasonably touch and turns to the back of the hook. This is olive thread. We bring it to the back of the hook, and I always put a couple of turns just behind the lead just to keep it locked in place, and I bring the thread so it's in line with the point of a hook. Okay, so this pattern I'd use stalking, blind casting or blind stalking, and it's a sort of pattern that when you find that flash isn't working or you see the fish shine away from it, okay, this is the sort of pattern that will work. So for this pattern I'll use a dark olive, and this is marabou. I've already dampened the marabou between finger and thumb to make it easier to handle, and I'm cutting the marabou and we're now going to join the marabou up to create a reasonable tail. As you've seen in my videos before, I don't cut the tips of the marabou. I like to leave them fairly natural. But what I do cut is the other end to neat it up. So I'm going to place the marabou on top of a hook between finger and thumb. And I'm going to bring the thread over, form a loop, pull down, and this will settle it on top of the hook. Just a couple more turns, and I'm going to bring the thread back towards to where the hook just before the hook starts bending, because I don't want to pull the marabou down, and bring it a couple of turns back. That is my tail. I'm not going to put any tinsel in that tail. I'm not going to put anything in it. I want it as a stealth with no tinsel, no flash or anything like that. Right, for the rib, I'm going to use a rib on this fly. I'm going to use a copper wire. Copper wire because it's duller than a silver wire. And I'm trying to keep this fly a little bit stealthy. So I'm going to bring the wire on top of a hook. A couple of turns, and I'm going to pull the wire so it virtually disappears under the thread. And then with my not so good scissors, I'm going to cut the wire. Because I don't want to use my best scissors to cut wire. Alright. For the dubbing, I'm going to use an olive. And I don't know if you can see this, but I have this mix of dubbings, all various sorts. Okay. And I don't use anything fancy to attach the dubbing to the thread or twist it on. I just bring the thread down, just one wipe with a glue stick, that's all you need so it doesn't become gummy. And I'm going to pick this lighter olive fur, and I'm just going to break it up and twist that on the thread. I'm just going to let the thread gently pick it up. There's a bit more. Just lightly twist it on, and then I'm going to wrap that along the body. There we go. It's become a bit buggier than I wanted, but that's not a problem. We can give it a little trim. Now we're going to bring the wire over. Three or four turns just along the body. Couple of turns to secure the wire. Pull the wire back another couple of turns. And as this is a leech, I'm not going to put a hackle on it or anything like that. That is basically it. So all I'm going to do now is my usual 2, 3, 4 turns. And then I'm going to do 1 1/2 hitch pull tight, 2 1/2 hitches pull tight, and lastly the third one. I find this works for me. And there we go. You can call it my plain olive, a stealth olive stalking leech.